Now we're going to talk about home security. Perimeter, outside, getting everything ready, making sure you're safe from intruders, bad weather, anything that might end up being a problem. We're going to get into it.
Now, first step in home security is protecting your perimeter. You don't want your perimeter to seem like it's overprotected, that you have something to defend against. So you're going to want to make sure that access to your property is as difficult as possible. You don't want to wake up one morning with 15 cars pulling into your driveway and a bunch of guys climbing out, walking up your front steps.
Or a pickup running through your living room. The big thing is, you don't want your house, when people approach, you don't want your house to look like, hey, this guy has something really valuable in there. That's why he's got the stockade fence, the barbed wire, and the security cameras. You want it to be subtle. You want it to fit your neighborhood. You want it to look like you blend in. So you want it to look normal, but you also want to think about and find a way that you can quickly secure it. And overall, you want it to be pretty secure.
Yeah, one of the important ideas on that is making sure you don't run your mouth too much, telling everybody what you've got around, like Chuck and I do.
There you
by
go.
Doing this website.
You don't want to blast all over the internet.
Yeah,
so.
You don't want to just have maybe a podcast where you talk about all the stuff that you do.
I have guns and bullets and all kinds of cool crap.
So keep that on the down low.
All right.
Now we're going to talk about maybe defending your access to your property. First, by letting in or out vehicles that you approve of only. One of the best and easiest ways to defend your driveway and protect from incoming vehicles is with another vehicle.
So, no car is going to come plowing through and bust through your vehicle blocking the driveway. Now, some people even block their driveway at the end of the night when they come home. You're the last guy in, you can leave your car right there blocking it. Now, some houses have people in and out. You have, the modern family, you have 5 kids working and whatever, everybody doing different jobs, working late. Then, maybe that's not practical. But in general, a vehicle is going to slow somebody down. And guess what? People don't want to get out of their car and snoop around. And if they see that you're protecting things, they're going to want to leave you alone because they're afraid of what might be on the other side.
If you don't feel like blocking your driveway with a vehicle, and you don't have a gate, you don't want to put a gate in, another great thing to have handy is a chain that you can run between 2 trees.
That and a heavy padlock, and you're nice and secure. All right, so now I want to talk about outbuildings. Storms, anything like that, you need to make sure your stuff is secure. You want to, get them secured in the shed, secured in the barn, anything like that. Make sure you're ready for whatever comes. When it comes to protecting your outbuildings, you got to realize anybody can kind of walk up and you're not right there to secure things. So what can we do to make it a little bit more secure, protect our stuff?
Great idea here is to add a padlock or a chain. Now that can be a little bit difficult when it comes to everyday use. Great idea is to use padlocks and chains. They can be a little bit difficult dealing with them when you're using it every day. But if you have a combination lock, it's real easy to pop it open and leave it open for the time you're using it and just close it up before you're done for the day. Another great thing here is opening doors. They call this a reverse swing door. It's a lot harder to kick in a door that has a frame behind it rather than a door that opens inwards. Another idea to keep in mind is maybe a trick lock where you can have a string running connecting a lock that hangs on the outside. You can pull it open and then open the door from there.
Million ideas on the internet for that kind of thing. I'm sure you guys can find it. Maybe I'll throw a link in there. Also, you may want to think about perimeter lights, having lights on your outbuildings. A lot of stuff with sensors, motion detectors. That one, it startles people. They're not sure if somebody's there till they check it out. There's a lot of stuff that's solar, so you don't have to worry about your far out buildings. It's a lot of that. What else you were thinking?
There's security cameras are pretty inexpensive, a lot less expensive than a lot of people think. It's easy to hang one and mount one on a tree towards your buildings and then get an alert maybe on your smartphone, or if you have a system set up inside your house where you can monitor the rest of your property.
Right. Next, you need to think about the entry to your home. When somebody comes up and looks at the outside of your house, what are they thinking about? Where are they going to want to, come in and gain entry? Obviously, the most logical is your front door. We're going to talk about ways to secure that in just a minute, but there are other things going on. If the front door is hard to get in, they're going to look and see this giant, big paned window and say, hey, I can pick up that ornamental chair or flower pot and right through, and I'm kicking in while you're sitting there watching Oprah, and all of a sudden somebody's crashing in and they have a gun in their hand. Well, you don't have time to react for that, so you need to prepare. So that's why you need to secure your front door properly, and you also need to secure your big windows. Now, the way to do that, 3M makes a great film that you can put over your windows and actually make them, well, pretty much hammer proof. They end up taking about 3 minutes to break through with a hammer, which gives you time to get a gun, get the police on their way, or whatever else you need to do to get ready for an intruder. All right?
Be aware of what glass in your house is tempered glass and what glass is just glass. Tempered glass is going to give you a little bit more leeway. A lot of sliding doors have tempered glass. When people have lights, windows next to their doors, most of the time that's tempered glass so that somebody can't reach through and unlock the door. But keep in mind what's what when you're securing your house.
Even like with something like that, your big sliding doors, you really want to add that extra layer of that thin film. Mm-hmm. Also, like these, maybe you just do the first one if you're really cheap, because you know what, you got to go to the one that's obvious that they're going to try.
Right.
If they run into a roadblock on the first one, they might go, oh crap, and take off. So, use your budget accordingly. Go to the windows that you think somebody's going to break into. Obviously, if you have it in your budget to secure all of them, that's the way to do it.
Right. But second story, third story windows are going to be last on the end of priorities.
Next, we're going to talk about securing your front door. There's this cool thing from Strike Plate Locks. I'll put a link there for you, obviously. You end up putting this in the door catch, and the way it works is something like this. It'll hang like this. When the door is closed, you wrap this around the handle. So when they pull on it, it's going to be secure and you're not going to have an issue. All of your doors.
Yeah, you want to have, now when you're framing up a door, you're going to have a 2x4 there, that's the jack stud. You're going to have one married right up against it inside your wall, that's a king stud. That gives you 3 inches. So when you're setting your door, your hinges, and your strike plate, you can use 3-inch screws and then it'll all catch meat in the meat of wood. So it's a great way to really harden up your door and your locks. Another great idea is you can cut a 2x4 just to let the right length so you can wedge your door shut.
If that doesn't work and they're still kicking in your door, you want to keep a shotgun handy. And guess what? When you need a shotgun handy, you need to keep ammo handy. So keep it nearby where you can access it, and that's pretty much how you secure your front door. Right. Another thing is you want to be alerted when there's an intruder on your property. Motion sensor lights, that kind of thing. Also, perimeter alarms. There's a lot of neat tripwire alarms out there, different things you can buy. Some with 22 rounds, some with shotgun rounds, some that are electrically wired to your house. I kind of like both options because basically electricity works most of that time, but you want to have a backup for when the grid does go down or there's some kind of issue with your power supply, or even if somebody cuts your power. Having a nice backup with, some kind of an alert is pretty cool. Another great thing when the grid is up is having, home security cameras. They do make a lot of wireless ones that are reasonably inexpensive that you can get. So when you're sitting in the house on the couch drinking a beer, it's great to know when somebody is approaching.
When you find out where they are and where they're coming from, you might want to keep in mind your fields of fire from inside your house. It's a lot harder for somebody to get to your house if they can't get into your house, if they can't get to your house. So just keep that in mind when you're walking around inside your house. What windows open, what windows work well, what windows are going to keep you protected while leaving them exposed.